Hey babes, what is up and welcome to this channel. This is the new Toxic Beauty channel, the new and improved Toxic Beauty channel, where we mainly are going to be following along with my surgery journey. I'm going to be doing a whole series on my BBL and my tummy tuck, which is coming up in mid-June. So I'm super excited about that. And we're also going to be doing a lot of glow up videos as well as try on hauls in my new body once I get it. So definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications, and feel free to comment any video ideas or suggestions down below. Also make sure that you're following me on my other social media platforms. I will have everything linked down below. If you're interested in any OnlyFans content, tips and tricks, videos like that, go and check out my other channel. I will have that linked down below. And lastly, this is my merch, so that will also be linked down below if you want to pick one up. There's different colors and different styles and different imagery and all that good stuff. So this video is going to be about my initial thought process with signing up to book this surgery, and basically just how to figure out if surgery is right for you, if you're ready to have surgery, if you want to have surgery, and what my initial process has been so far in booking my surgery. I kind of made the decision quickly, which is just how I operate. And I signed up and I am moving through the whole process fairly quickly, but it's something that I've thought about for so freaking long. Oh my god. Okay, so I wrote down some notes. I'm not going to get too in-depth with everything, and I will show you guys how I am looking right now. I did already in my previous video, but I will again in this video. So I originally had lipo 360 and a Brazilian butt lift back in 2018. So it's already 3 years post-op, and I've gained a lot of weight. So I'm going to show what my body looks like with a lot of weight gain after the surgery, because a lot of things happen when you do surgery such as Brazilian butt lift or lipo. So aside from that, it's been 3 years, and like I said, I've gained a lot of weight, and I'm really unhappy with my stomach and with my butt, and that's as a result of the weight gain and just certain imperfections that happened with the first surgery. So there's a couple of points that I do want to mention throughout this video, but right now I've came to the conclusion that I'm going to do a tummy tuck and I'm going to do a Brazilian butt lift, and I'm going to basically reshape my butt, not necessarily make it bigger, but just reshape it. So I'm super excited about that, and I've decided on my doctor and I booked the surgery. It's definitely going to be in June, and I just want to talk about how I got to this point. Okay, so the first step in deciding whether or not you want to have surgery is to decide what it is that you want to do. So I knew clearly that I wanted to do a Brazilian butt lift because I know I wanted more fat added in certain areas, some fat taken out. So I knew I wanted to do a round 2 with a revision. I've known since 6 months post-op the first time around, so it's something I've known for a long time. I didn't just wake up and decide I wanted to do it. And then the tummy tuck is something that I also wanted to do the first time around, but I thought I wanted to have more children, so I decided not to do the tummy tuck. But now I know I don't want to have more children, so now I feel like it's the right time for me to do it. And I've also decided to do fat transfer to the breast because I don't want to have a foreign implant in my body. I'd rather use my own fat, even though a lot of it will not survive and it won't be as dramatic of a transformation as if you do implants. But based on my research, I decided that's the best thing for me. So the first step is for you to decide what it is that you want to do and whether or not it's right for you. And you have to do your research on each procedure, know the risk factors, the risk benefits, all of that stuff. Know what it is that you're getting yourself into before even starting the sign up process to book the surgery. Just make sure you're 100% with your decision, because there's no going back once you do plastic surgery. There's just no going back. I mean, you can reverse certain decisions, but nothing will ever return to its original state. So you really have to make sure you're aware of what you're about to do to your body and whether or not it's something you want to do, and you're okay with the chances and the risks that are involved. So after you decide, okay, you're ready to do it, now you have to pick a doctor. And that you really have to think about, and you have to do your research, because I didn't do as much research as I should have the first time around. But the biggest thing that you should be aware of when deciding on a doctor is that there's cosmetic surgeons and then there's plastic surgeons. So cosmetic surgeons are not nearly as experienced as plastic surgeons. Their training is not nearly as vigorous. Therefore, they're not as experienced and as knowledgeable in plastic surgery. So be wary of that. You might save money going with a cosmetic surgeon, and it's not worth it in the long run, because this is your body, and if it's not done correctly, there could be a lot of consequences that you will pay for in the end. So be aware of that. Make sure that you're going to a board certified plastic surgeon for anything as dramatic as tummy tucks, liposuctions, Brazilian butt lifts. There are right ways to do these procedures and there are wrong ways, and someone that is knowledgeable will know about all the little tricks to make your results the most astonishing possible. Okay, so just make sure that you're going to a board certified plastic surgeon. Make sure that there's no deaths under his belt. Go through realself.com, go through Google, and just try to dig up as much as possible to see that doctor's history, and make sure that you're going with the right decision. If they have a YouTube channel, great. Watch a bunch of their videos while you're trying to decide who's right for you, and you can kind of pick which doctor you feel like you relate to, which doctor you're building a rapport to, especially when you're doing the surgery out of town and you can't necessarily meet the doctor. Watching their videos and building that trust and that rapport and that interest in having them doing the surgery for you is super, super important, because you want to trust who you're going to, and you want to make sure that it's ultimately the right doctor for you. Some doctors do better at other procedures, some doctors do more extreme results than others, so you want to make sure that based on what you're looking for, that doctor is going to be able to deliver on those results. Some doctors do a lot more natural, some doctors do a lot more extreme, some doctors refuse to do certain things. You got to make sure that you're doing things within a safe manner, but at the same time picking the doctor that can deliver the results that you personally want, and only you can decide on that. So once you look up the doctor and you decide on who you want, make sure you check all their reviews out. Make sure you really check and analyze all their credentials, their history. Go on as many websites as possible, do your research, be an investigator, pretend you're trying to find out if your man is cheating on you, and do your fucking digging on this doctor and make sure he's right. Once he's right, especially if it's out of town, then you should be able to go to the website and schedule a consultation. Whether you're in town or out of town, I think every website kind of has a pop-up where you're able to schedule a virtual consultation, or you can go in person if it's somewhere local. So for me, in deciding who my doctor is going to be this time around, I actually did visit a doctor that was here, and then I also saw quotes that were done virtually outside of the States, or outside of here rather. So that's gonna help you to determine whether or not you're going to the right doctor. Price is also a big factor as to why some people go out of the country or out of their hometown. So for me, I went to Staten Island. I live in New York. I went to Staten Island for a quote, and the doctor's price was kind of outrageous, to be quite honest. I'm going to tell you a little story about that in a second. And then I did quotes that were out of the area that were a lot better and more affordable. I could get a lot more bang for my buck, and even with hotels and flights, it's still less expensive. So, and I trust the doctors even more to get the results that I want personally. So you have to really pick and choose what's right for you. Maybe you can't afford to leave the area because of reasons like being a mom. Maybe you can't afford to go away. You can't afford to step out of town. You just can't deal with that inconvenience of going out of town while you're recovering. And maybe coming home, staying home is what has to be for you, and you have to pay that extra money. So only you know what's going to be right for you. But so when I went to the doctor here, in my head was like, I cannot afford to go out of the area and recover anywhere that's not home. I just can't do it. So at first I was thinking I'm gonna stay here and do it local, and I went to him and I saw him in person. I took that little drive to go see him. He checked everything out. He gave me a quote on a piece of paper. I went home. I thought about it. I liked the number. I called that following Monday and I tried to book the surgery. I was ready to put my deposit. Once you're ready to book a surgery, you're always going to be required to put like a deposit, whether it's like some places charge like $500, some places charge $750, but there's a range, and it's basically to secure your surgery date. So I called in to do that, and when I called in, she reviewed the quote, and basically the quote didn't match the procedures that I wanted, which made no freaking sense because I went there physically and saw him discuss everything in person. So why would the quote not match? And I didn't catch it because his handwriting was so sloppy on the paper. I just didn't put two and two together. So basically they ended up making the price like almost $7,000 more than the original quote. So I sat on it, I just kept thinking, and I had really liked the reviews that I saw on the doctor. I loved his before and after pictures, and I really wanted him to do it. So I had convinced myself that the price was justifiable. So I called in again to now book it, knowing that the price was that much more money. And she was like, okay, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Are you aware you have to put a deposit? I said, yes, I'm good. So my original camera is broken and it's in the shop getting fixed. So this camera has a record limit and it keeps stopping. So I don't know exactly where I left off. But basically, once you decide on your doctor, you will send in your photos. And if it's an out-of-town consult, you'll send in your photos. At least for this doctor, that's what I did. I went on the website, I signed up, I sent in my photos, and my cat is jumping here. She's distracting me. And basically like 2 or 3 days later, I got a quote in the mail. I was super happy with the price, especially because this place's price actually included 3 post-op massages as well as 1 week stay in the hotel for recovery. So to me, that was super freaking awesome that the price included all of those extra benefits. And I was super excited. So I was like, you know what, this is a no-brainer, I'm gonna go with it. I was really happy with everything I saw on Real Self and everywhere and all the research. So once they sent in the quote, from there you can open an attachment and actually pick from the calendar and schedule the soonest date, which is what I picked. I picked the first available date and the earliest in that day possible. So I'm super freaking pumped up about that. And then from there, you are going to communicate through email, and I signed a bunch of questionnaires via DocuSign. I did like a lot of medical questionnaires. I got my medical clearance forms emailed to me. I printed them out. I went to the doctor just 2 days ago to do all the blood work. They did a bunch of blood work and they did an EKG to make sure that I'm a good candidate for this surgery. I'm still waiting on the results. I think everything's going to come back really well. Then they'll fax it to the doctor, and then I'll be actually medically cleared, and from there I'll actually book my flights. I did already book the Airbnb for the week prior to the recovery place, so I'm definitely going to Florida, but I didn't want to actually book the flights because I just wanted to wait for the medical clearance, just out of comfort, in case I can't get a refund back from the flight. So that's the biggest thing, is you want to book your surgery for at least a month to 2 months if you can prior to when you book it. Like, give yourself at least 2 months basically to get all the surgery supplies that you need for recovery, to make your recovery and your transition after the surgery, make it a lot more smooth. Make sure you have everything ready to go on hand so you're not stressing after the surgery and you can just focus on recovery. And what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so you want to give yourself at least the 2 months to have everything ready to go, and also to make sure that you get all your medical clearances in on time. Sometimes you have to gain or lose weight for the surgery, so you also want to give yourself enough time to do whatever is necessary to be in the perfect health condition for the surgery. So right now I'm actually still working out. They haven't told me that I need to lose weight at all, but usually when you go in for a tummy tuck, you already want to be at your ideal weight. So I think I can still afford to lose like maybe 5 or 10 pounds on my own, because they can't really liposuction the area that they're going to do the tummy tuck at. They can lipo above, but they can't lipo that area. So the more I lose weight naturally, the better my results will be. But a month prior to the actual surgery, I have to stop like training for the tummy tuck, and I also have to stop the pre-workout drinks that I usually require before every workout. So in terms of booking the surgery and making everything official before you put your deposit, you really just want to make sure that you are able to recover and take off enough time from work. So you want to make sure, like, if you need at least 4 weeks to recover, you want to make sure you have clearance from your job that you can afford those 4 weeks off. Maybe you can arrange some type of medical leave where you get some type of paid time off, which would be really beneficial for you. But basically, depending on what your procedures are going to be, you may need 2 weeks off, you may need 4 weeks off, you may benefit from 8 weeks off. Who knows? Everybody's body is different. But make sure that you're aware of your procedures, the healing time that those procedures come with, the things that you'll need to help your recovery be as smooth and as fast and as quick as possible. And just make sure that you're prepared and you know what it is that you're getting yourself into. Make sure you did your research on the doctor, and make sure that you're being in good communication. After you book your surgery and you pay your deposit, you will be set up with the surgery coordinator, and she should be your go-to person that you can text and call at any time with any questions about anything from setting up to booking your hotels to the procedures that you're going to do to communication with the doctor. Any question that you have, that's your go-to, your middleman between you and surgery date and your communication with the doctor. So look out for your surgery coordinator and be on good terms with them, and make sure that you are just fully aware of everything. What I did is, since I'm going to be in Florida the week before the procedure, I scheduled a in-person consultation to see him in person and meet him prior to the surgery, so that I'm not only meeting him on the morning of, just so that I can do a final in-person consultation, make sure we talk about everything, and make sure that we get the pricing right. Because sometimes other things can be added on in the moment, and then your price all of a sudden will change, so you got to be aware of that. And lastly, the only other point I'll make in this video is that, let's say you get your quote from the doctor, you have to be aware that that's one quote. There's still going to be a shit ton of other things that you're going to need after that quote's price. So your quote's price will be for like the anesthesia and for like the actual procedure. Sometimes it includes, like in my case, it includes the hotel, a week stay, as well as 3 massages. Sometimes it doesn't include that at all. Now, even with that being included, after I get home, I'm still going to have to schedule massages. I'm still going to have to buy more stages of fajas, because there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And I'm going to be wearing a faja for the whole first year after surgery, maybe even longer. So fajas are a huge investment, because good ones can run you easily about $125, $150. Massages are super expensive. And all the medicine is not covered by your insurance plan, so all of that's out of pocket. All of your BBL pillows, your BBL canoes, your beds, BBL, your air mattresses, I mean you know what I mean, like the seats with the cutouts, like all of your BBL supplies, your garments, everything is all extra on top of the cost of the surgery. So if you're questioning, like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough for the hotel, oh my god, I don't know I'm gonna have enough for the fajas, like, then you're probably not in a good position to do this surgery, because you're not in a financially stable position. And you want to go into this and know that you have all expenses covered, and you're also able to prepare for any unexpected expenses that you obviously cannot foresee. So that's pretty much it. Let me just show you what I'm looking like right now. And again, this is after post-op weight gain 3 years later. All right, so this is what I'm looking like. I gained a lot of weight. I did lipo 360 originally, so that was lipo all around here. But I always had loose skin right here, as well as this is a pending scar that indents. And because my stomach was so large and then they lipoed it, I got a lot of loose skin here. So we're going to really correct all of that, and they're going to relocate my belly button. And this is what the butt is looking like. So I gained a lot of weight, and a lot of it goes to the areas where they put the fat. So in this case, a lot of it goes there. So if I gain weight, it takes longer to come to my stomach, but eventually it will come back to the stomach. So it's not impossible to gain weight in areas that they lipo or do a tummy tuck on. And then the fat will grow a lot in the areas that they put new fat into. It's just how the body works. So that's something to really consider when you have this type of surgery. If you gain weight, it will go there. And because you gain weight, sometimes it will sag and your skin is not elastic enough to hold it up, which is why you see a little bit of sagging right here, and there's a little bit too much overgrowth. So this is the areas that I'm really gonna have corrected. But my butt really did drop since I had the surgery. It wasn't this low and this heavy and this large originally. So be careful when you have this surgery done. Okay, so I hope that this video was helpful. I hope it answered a lot of questions that you guys have. If there's anything that I didn't cover or touch up on, let me know in the comments down below. Please give this video a huge like, a thumbs up. Please turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and follow my other social media platforms. Everything will be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye guys.
Dicey sounds